Hello, all you hardcore boxing fans out there. How you doing? It's Russ here from Poker's Corner, the biggest go in sport. Today we're joined by Andy, who's not from fucking Aberdeen. How you doing, Andy?
Bad mate yourself.
Right, mate. How are you? Right.
I'm all right. Aye, I'm all right.
Good man. What you been up to? I haven't seen you for a bit.
Walking, lots of walking. I've
No.
got a 25 mile sponsored walk to do for Macmillan Cancer Support on Saturday coming.
Yeah.
So if any of the viewers out there want to sponsor me, have a look at Andy's Cavern Boxing channel, and there's a
That
video
thing
on
that
there.
you're doing for that charity, Andy.
Aye, yeah,
And then when do you
yeah.
do that? When do you do it?
This this Saturday coming, yeah,
This Saturday, 25 mile.
25 mile. So
It's a good old walk, that, Andy, isn't it?
it's a fair hike, guy, and
Is
my
it 18
target's
hours? 18 hours or some 16 hours.
no, I'll try and do it 6.5, 7, uh,
That's some
six and a
good.
half.
That's some going. That's like a marathon, isn't it? In 6 or 7 hours,
Yeah,
isn't it? Yeah.
15-minute miles. That's the plan.
So they are 15-minute miles. That's some going that, Andy.
Oh, that's what I've been doing in training. Aye, so the wife as well. She's doing it. She's got me into it. So
Have you got any decent trainers to do it in?
I bought a brand new pair of Asics
That's
running shoes.
what Kent's into all that. Kent, give me a ring.
Uh,
Pop, pop, bang. Kent's into all that A6 nonsense. If Roch wears a pair, they're supposed to be good, aren't they?
I've always liked them. I dug out. I used to do a bit of running a while back, just distance stuff, and I had an old pair of Asics trainers. I'd probably be 8 years old, and I was just wearing walking shoes, for out training, and I put the old Asics running shoes on. I was a minute a mile quicker, So I'm like, but then my feet started getting sore just because they're old and the kind of bounce had gone out of them. So I thought I'm going to buy a new pair. So down to Sports Direct, and there's a pair. They look all right, 105 or £110 down to 55. I thought they look the business size. So I got a pair of them. Went up the till, 89 quid. And I'm like, wait a minute, it's 55. The guy gave me the wrong shoe. The 55 quid one, he only had in a size 7. So
Go on,
So
Andy.
that was that. But I thought they're comfy, so I'm buying it. I just bought them. It's an investment.
Yeah, yeah. Did you get that car finish for your lad, that Citroen Saxo?
No, we're not taking it. I was just speaking to the guy today, actually. I told him we're not going to, it's going to cost a lot of money to get it welded,
Well,
So he's talking about £1,000 to get it all done
the
properly, So
only problem is it's when it's welding like that and you weld it, all the rest of it starts going, doesn't it? And the rock boxes
uh,
shite, aren't they? I had a Renault
they're,
case done. A nightmare.
they're made of thin metal,
Yeah, it's a bit like Datsun 120Is back in the 70s. They ran forever, but they were rock, weren't they?
They just got lighter and lighter, So
Yeah.
start disintegrating.
Yeah. What do you think to the stick that Flex is getting for putting his tongue that far up Tyson Fury's ringer? What do you think to the licking that he has been doing, trying to get in to train Tyson Fury? That's the word round here. Flex is saying he'd train him and all that. Flex, why don't you come out on that Coppers channel? PC Gully, South Yorkshire Serving Policeman's channel. That's right, a copper. People in boxing are giving coppers access. So why don't you, Flexi, who's never done a day in jail in your life, why don't you get your copper mate and you to talk about how you're trying to get moves behind the scenes or make moves to train Fury, eh? Instead of all this tiptoeing around this shite that you're talking. Why don't they just come out with it? Do you know what I mean? What trainer's not going to knock Fury back? They're not going to get 10%. Peter couldn't even get 10%, but they're going to get paid, aren't they? But this is what you've got
Yeah.
in boxing. They tiptoe around the issues. Patman nailed it months ago, and he nailed it other day, didn't he? We're not stupid how he was boxing people, right? Former heavyweight champion at Worlds, you got a rematch for all belts except one. So it's like a unified, not undisputed. Of
Yeah.
course, all the trainers want to train. Joe Gallagher are training. They're both from the same estate, aren't they? In Withershaw. Flex are training. But you don't get Joe coming out kissing his ass, do you? Chris Sanager training. Pat Barrett, he's a Manchester kid. He'd train him. Nick Manners had trained. Nobody's going to knock back training the former heavyweight champ, are they? But why don't they just say that instead of talking absolute fucking waffle? Did you see his interview on that Boxing King Media? He should be fucking embarrassed, shouldn't he?
I seen a bit about saying something about
Well,
he reckon it was down to his conditioning that he got beat, and I'm like,
oh, condition. It was what was it, 16.5 pounds lighter when he fought on Garno. So how is he in
and,
bad condition? He trained his
and
off. They had 8 months.
he had a longer camp because of that cut eye, so he couldn't have been in
No.
better shape, by the way.
What about the dream team? Sugar Hill, Big John Fury, Big Feather Duster Man, Andy Lee, Big Irishman, knows everything about boxing. What about that bald-headed dude who Ingle's big chum, Greg Marriott, Mr. Strength and Condition Nutrition Man, and all them other lickers that were around him? They couldn't topple Usyk. They won 3 rounds out of 12, just like Joshua. Right? They're the rounds Usyk takes off to see what you've got. They give Tony Bellew up first 3 rounds there just to see what we're about, then set his traps accordingly. The guy's a computer.
Just lures him into a false sense of security, and then
you, you know what I mean? So Flex, you should be embarrassed. The job centre is that way because you've got no fighters. What's he going to do? Dig Kell Brook up and Barry? Hey, the Laurel and Hardy of boxing. What are they going to do? Pair of them shot to pieces. So they're done. Ryan Rhodes and Johnny Nelson are gone from that gym. Who else has gone from that gym? Pelly Reid, a lot of them. What was he left with? Willie Hutchinson's done one, hasn't he? Everybody leaves you, Flex, because you don't know what you're doing. Unbelievable. All they're doing is got a bench pressing, chest and tricep, back and biceps, shoulders, legs. That's it. Walking around in a body warmer, gnawing on a piece of celery. That don't make you a trainer. Hey? What the? Come on, Andy, help me out here. Pop, pop, bang. What is Flex on? I will warm into Flex because he does talk quite a lot of sense. You know what I mean? But and then you've got Frotch coming out saying, well, if Robert McCracken doesn't train me, I'd let Flex train me. What the fuck? Hey? Well, why didn't you, Carl? Do me a favour. Hey?
It's maybe just winding you up with saying that.
3 people have failed dope tests on his watch. That we fucking know about. Who's failed who we don't know about? I know people that have been in that gym, right? And I know what's been said and what was on. He's knackered. He's shot his Senate foot. He's training 20 stone solicitors and accountants now. That's it. That's his job now. Flex. Apart from going down to Wendy's down here to get his t-shirts tucked in so his arms look as big as mine.
He's always on that Boxing King Media, that BYD.
Yeah, that Coppers channel. That's because he's not getting in trouble in his life. Listen, do you know Killer Khan, the Asian kid who grew up with him? You know, who were a part of Ingle gym. Yeah? The Ingle way. What is the fucking Ingle way? People keep going on about the Ingle style. It's the Bomber Graham style. People start messing around with shit and inventing knackers. The Ingle style. Do me a favour. Killer Khan put it on him at Meadow Hall. Right? So come on, they're out back. Here's Killer One. Let's dance. What did you do, Flex? You went to police. And the police went to Killer's house and arrested him, didn't they? So don't talk to me about coppers, Flex. They're your best mates. You have a coppers channel daily. Unbelievable. Totally embarrassed himself going on about Usyk. The pound for pound #1 guy in the world at heavyweight at least. And probably across the board, Andy. Undisputed at cruiserweight, undisputed at heavyweight, Olympic gold, world gold, European gold. 350 fights, lost 15, rematched 11. The guy is untouchable. His defense is impregnable.
And he's beaten naturally bigger guys, isn't he? Time after
22
time after
and
time.
0 on the road. 22 and 0 on the road. He's done 8 world champions, more than Ray Leonard and Agler, more than Fury and Joshua. What more does he have to do? Who's Fury be? Vladimir, an old man, and Wilder, a one-trick pony. Tyson Fury's had 8 counts in his career. He's not Mayweather. He's talking about him like he's fucking Mayweather. He's had 8 counts. 8 counts to 10. In what, 30 odd fights? 30, I don't know, 30 something fights. 8 counts. Huh? 8.
They might have another one coming up, the next fight.
He's had 8 counts, so he's not exactly Mr. Defensive Genius, is he? But yet idiots like him, they fall for this like nonsense at the spread. See what they do, Tyson Fury and his old man, what they do? They pal up all these YouTubers and then they get Gareth A. Davies on board and a few other lickers like Simon Jordan, and what they do, and Bricktop, who's promoting him, and he's got him in position. And what they do, they give him access, and then they big him up, and then they spread stuff, and it becomes folklore. The man's had 8 counts. They say Carl Froch hasn't got a chin. Sorry, he's not defensive minded. He takes a lot of shots. He's had 2 counts. 2 counts. Fury's had 8. They've probably had about the same fights. So who's got the better chin? Who's got the better defense? Fury's defense is obviously utter shite. Fury never took a 10 count on Peter Fury's watch. Not one. Yui's not had a 10 count yet. Not one. Right, what's that tell you? That Peter's probably a defensive guy, isn't he? You know, he's mastered that defensive art, hasn't he? They had to do that for Tyson because he kept getting knocked about. If you're getting knocked down by non-punchers, you've got a problem, haven't you? But they're talking about him like he's this defensive guy and he's superhuman. He's such a shit. He's been carefully matched. He didn't want to fight Luis Ortiz, did he? He didn't fight David Price. He used to have nightmares about David Price, you know. You know David Price? Big Price. Fury had nightmares about fighting him, you know. He was running through everybody like Godzilla who were going to kill us all in our beds. You remember? Little Frank Maloney. Little Frank Maloney. You remember him? He was running around, wasn't he, Frank Maloney? He was telling nightmare stories about David Price. I was sweating in bed at night. I thought Price were going to come to where I'm behind him and choke us all to death. Fury didn't want to go near him. Who's going to ask Fury that? Why didn't you go near David Price? Why did you cock off at Luis Ortiz offer when he was 22-0? Or when David Price were undefeated? You're not going to go near them big punches. Big punching southpaw or a big punching right-handed kid. Do you know what I mean? But yet they're talking about him like he's better than Ali. And then he's running around with goat hats on. Everybody buys into this shit. It's absolute shit.
Like we said, though,
these are boxing people. So, Hatman, you know, I'll give him his credit. He spoke out. Do you know what I mean? I know he's behind the camera and all that, but he spoke out, didn't he? And he said what he said. Hey?
Prior to the Usyk fight, I think we discussed fighting people like White and Chisora.
Chisora is credit 3 times. Chisora won 2 rounds out of 3 fights, Andy. What are we doing here? How did they end up with a pay-per-view with Chisora 3rd time? And you've got Gareth A. Davies bigging it up as a close one, and Derek's really up for this. What shit?
Tyson even had to tell him to shut up, didn't he, at one point?
Tyson even said to shut up. Derek's a lot better fighter now. Shut up, Tyson said. Hey, we know what it is, don't what we've seen. And we've just seen his best against Usyk. What happened? He got his arse handed to him, mate. He got battered. Now, all them people running around, his own brother, Big Fat Shane, said he got beat against Usyk. Said he got beat. He wasn't even Shane. Well done for saying that, mate. It weren't even close, mate. Round 4, 5, and 6 with your Tyson Fury. Usyk always takes them rounds off. He has a look at him, doesn't he? Come on, we know what we're saying, don't we?
Usyk set about him for the start, eh?
It's sad.
Usyk bullied him from the start, didn't he? He's just set about him,
in round 1 and 2, mate. Set his stall out. Yeah. Bullied him, and that's why he didn't want to fight Luis Ortiz, because he's always struggled with southpaw, Tyson. He always has. Do you know what I mean? But they convinced the public that he's this. He can do this. He can do that. He can deal with southpaw. He couldn't deal with Usyk, who's a smaller man. Usyk's fighting men 2 and 3 stone heavier than him, 3.5 stone, 4 stone sometimes, and he's dealing with them. He is absolutely ransacking them. He'll be having nightmares about this fight. I don't think it happened. He will have nightmares about this. He was having nightmares about big pricing. And what would Usyk have done to him? He'd put him on button moon with George Groves, who's still up there from when Frotz lifted him up onto the sky. Isn't that right, Grovesy boy? Pop, pop, bang. So it kind of like winds me up. And best thing about it is, you've got people here who work in the industry, like Gareth A. Davis. They're not going to say a fucking word, mate, because they're stuck up them. They're hanging out the back of these people's arseholes. That's what's happening, Andy. This is on our watch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Drives me
guard,
insane.
where would the guard be if he wasn't hanging out the back of them, though? He'd be nowhere, would he?
He'd be writing what he does for Telegraph or whatever, and doing his own YouTube. Instead of hanging out at the back of Fury, he'd be hanging out at the back at next man. In fact, it wouldn't even surprise me if he's still hanging out at the back of him now, telling him that it was a very close fight and it could have gone either way. It depends how you want to score it. Because once you put it on them and say, "What? How did you get that score? What you on about? You?" And then they go, "Well, it depends what you're looking for, what the judges are looking for." Load of shit. Absolute shino. Go and look at CompuBox. Fury won 3 rounds according to CompuBox. Punches landed. Bump, bump. They're scoring punches down here and here. Scoring punches. Go and look at the punches landed. It's insane. They're on crack. The crack smokers or sniffers. They're on something, mate. They're out their minds. It's unbelievable. I can't believe what I've seen. He'll not recover from that because his ego was massive, innit? He got knocked about by a smaller man. Get over it. The guy's a genius. Do what Tony Bellew does. Hang out the back of Usyk. Every time he sees him, Bellew bigs him up. Because he couldn't do no other, could he? Because Usyk let him have a couple of rounds to have a look at him. And then he just went through gears, didn't he? Destroyed Bellew, didn't he? Bellew's dining out on the fact that I were winning the fight. What? Because Eddie Hills, as judges, was saying to her, "You are a away fighter, mate." This guy's been an away fighter all his career, mate. He's never fought at home, has he, really? He's never fought.
I'm sure I've seen a video of Tyson just recently in the past week or two talking about Usyk, saying he's way better than Klitschko. He's way better than anybody he's ever seen before.
He is. Well, go and ask Carl Frotz, Johnny Nelson, and Mr. Bean. Go ask Horsecock and Mr. Bean and Cobra. They were stood there while they were knocking Vladimir about. Knocking him about in Alps. They're saying, "Oh, is this guy? Oh, that's him who won Olympic gold, isn't it?" Knocked him about. Vladimir smashed him up. Put hands on him, as Terry Chappendama says. Touched him up, mate. He touched him up. And this is before he even went pro. You know what I mean? So
and that'd be Klitschko in his prime at that point as well, probably.
He was, man. When he getting ready for David Hayden at the time.
Yeah. So.
Come on, mate. This guy's a G. He's Mozart. Enjoy him while he's here, but they're that busy saying, "Nah, Fury only lost because he wasn't fit. He didn't turn up." Load of shino. That's what they call it in Doncaster. Shino. They say, don't you? Right? When people are chatting like that, you've got to get rid of shino. Do you know why? Because it can leave stains. Get rid of it. It stinks. Get rid of it. So stop it. Flex. Come on, you've been around boxing long enough. You're in your mid-50s. Do you know what I mean? Talking absolute what? Mind me talks. He talks a lot of sense, doesn't he, Dominic? When you're talking like that, Flex, you're talking shino. That's the bottom line, Andy. Shino. And he knows it. But what can you do? Everybody around here knows that Dominic Ingle would like to train Tyson Fury. So, Dominic, why don't you just come out and say it? Everybody knows that you're telling people behind the scenes, "Yeah, I'd train Fury if he's falling out with Sugar Hill and Andy Lee and his dad and whoever's around him." Everybody knows it. He's been saying it. So why don't Dominic come out and say, "Yeah, I'd train Tyson"? Joe G come out and say, "Well, if you were free, I'd train him." They're not going to say it while there's with Sugar Hill. No trainer worth the salt is going to knock back the former heavyweight champ, are they? Right? But they're not.
There's nothing wrong with them saying it.
Andy, they want to get back in mix. So Dominic's not got nobody, has he? He wants to get back at me. Nobody said he's not a good trainer.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? But if people are going to be failing dope test on your watch, they're not going to be queuing up to be trained by you, are they? He shot his
Yeah.
Senate up. We all know what happened with that Billy Joe thing. Everybody knows. You know what I mean? Billy Joe put it on him. Everybody knows, mate, what happened. So it is what it is, isn't it? You know, we don't know what Dominic's been giving them in his special shakes, but obviously 3 people have failed on his watch. So it's not good. If Alex Ferguson had 3 footballers at Man United when he was in his heyday, failing dope tests, sorry, he'd be down road, wouldn't he? He'd be down job centre. He'd be sacked. Do you know what I mean?
I
Boxing's
mean,
different to that. So.
and it might be nothing to do with him, but it's because he's associated with him. It looks bad on him, eh?
Of course
So
it does, mate. Of course it does. But like I said, you know, he's hanging out the back of Fury, and Tyson's not going to take him on. He's already had 3 dope allegations himself: cocaine, nandrolone, and a refusal. Now, what were in the refusal? Why did he refuse? What had he had? So, last thing he needs is to be around Flexi Boy, isn't it? Hey, or to drink something he shouldn't be drinking in that gym. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So, Dominic, off with your head, mate, charlatan. But what can you do? It's boxing it. What did you think to Floyd Mayweather and John Gotti's grandkid in front of 400 and hang on, right here.
I started watching
Oh,
it.
hang on. In front of 429, although boxing scene is saying 489. So let's say 500 and be conservative. In front of less than 500 people. You know, who wants
am I
to
right?
shit?
Am I right in saying Mayweather was over here doing something? It wasn't a big crowd of that either, was it? A while
Who
back.
wants to see him? What is he, 48 next birthday or something? Who
Something
wants
like
to
that.
see
But
somebody like that? He's got a shite style and his style, right? Let me tell you this. Do you know years ago, right, when he first burst on the scene, he'd only been a pro when he was 17, 18 months, and he won world title. He beat that General Hernandez, didn't he? Who were considered the main man at the time, wasn't he, at that weight? He
yeah,
basically tore him apart, won every round and knocked him out, didn't he? Right. He
yeah,
was Floyd Mayweather, nobody can say that he's not a very, very special fighter, but he had to change his style and adapt, didn't he, as the years went on.
yeah.
Ended up with 49 and 0, and I don't count that last fight he had against that Irish kid. That to me, he's 49 and 0, Mayweather, in my eyes.
Yeah.
They bought him that 50th fight because he got loads of money for it. Yeah, 300 odd million quid for that or something. What
Nah,
was
it's
that? What was
crazy
that?
money, yeah. Crazy money.
What was
But I
that? So
mean,
why is he still fighting, Andy? You tell me, because I don't want to see him fight. I think he's a shit
yeah.
house. Piss
The big
off,
thing,
Mayweather. Piss off.
the big thing about the 50 and 0, I mean, Julio Cesar Chavez, did he not go like 80 odd fights without getting beat?
Yeah, but we all know what happened when he fought Meldrick Taylor, don't we? Aye. He fought Meldrick Taylor, didn't he? Let's have it right. They stopped it.
That when the ref stopped the fight in the last
The kid was
10 seconds.
the kid was stood up looking at the referee and he stopped it with 2 seconds to go. Come on, we know what happened there, don't we?
There's a bad smell about that.
Yeah, there was something smelly about that, and Lou Duva told them what had happened. He said, "You've got to watch Jose Sullivan and Don King because they're going to shaft us first chance to get." And they put King's favourite ref in, didn't they? What was it? Richard Steele, was it? Might have been wrong.
Richard Steele,
Richard Steele, yeah.
yeah.
Richard Steele, a US Marine. You utter shino. You know, I'm going for it tonight, aren't I?
On fire.
I've just had a quote from dentist. Oh my God, just for a check. Oh my God. The maintenance these days to keep these going is unbelievable. And it's dear now, isn't it? I'm in a vile mood.
Everyone's dear, huh?
Just even servicing your watch, mate, it's dear. I bought cars for less. Right, Daniel DeBar against Big Meech. 2 big stiffs. Fighting for Usyk's leftovers. Who you got, Andy?
Dubois
I've got DeBar. Icy.
by probably about 8th round stoppage, I think.
I've got round 9. Beefy Smith against Josh Kelly. I've got Kelly.
Josh Kelly, aye.
Beefy
Possibly points or maybe a late stoppage.
Personally, I don't think Beefy were ever above British level. I think he blagged it with that WBO belt that Uncle Bricktop gifted him in a vacant belt. Tyler Denny against Amzad Shiraz. I've got Shiraz. That's for European. Yeah.
Yeah, he's something special, Shiraz. I think he's
Yeah.
on a big trajectory, and he's on the way up big time.
Smith Kelly's got European as well, so they're getting some commissions on night. Then we've got Kakezi against Warrington, IBF and IBO. What do you think to that, Andy?
Kakezi probably late stoppage, I would think.
Yeah, I think Kakezi. No disrespect to Josh Warrington, I like him, but the man's a billy goat. He's got away with murder. Was he one win in his last five? You know,
Yeah, it'll be an exciting fight that what lasts.
oh, while he gets away with headbutts.
That's it. It's third fist.
Josh Warrington's shot to pieces, in my opinion. They've tried to cut corners for the last few years in that camp. Cheap sparring. They've got people around working around her that don't know what they're doing. That's why
Yeah.
he's in the predicament he's in. Away fighter against Kakezi with begging bowl, and I've heard he took very, very poor money to fight as well. Boazzi 18-0 against Willie Hutchinson 18-1. Willie's left flex. That's but WBO interim. What do you think to that?
I'm going Willie Hutchison.
I'm
I'm
going
going
to
to back
go Boazzi.
fellows.
I like Willie Hutchinson, but I'm going to go Boazzi.
I'm going to back my fellow Scott.
Hey,
I'm going to back my fellow Scott.
well, he gets iced. Then we've got Chamberlain against Padley, 16-0, 14-0. It's a really good card, you know. It's one
Nah, it is,
best one I've seen in Britain for a long, long time, you know, this card.
Yeah.
So they're all good fights all the way through. But Boazzi and Hutchinson, in my opinion, they're gonna be upgraded to WBO champion. That's how Bricktop works in because Bivol and B2B, they'll only be allowed to do an undisputed for one, won't they? Because the WBO is a part company, don't they? Usually now. They've already got the
Yeah.
in place, so Bricktop will be looking to get that kid upgraded, won't he? But that's 6 fights on that Wembley show. That's good if it happens. If nobody's arsehole falls out, meaning DeBar or Joshua pull out, a lot of claps, won't it?
I don't Dubois will pull out. I think he's got an air of confidence about him, hasn't he?
You think?
Oh, Dubois, I think he's in the zone, I think, confidence wise.
Good. He's still a big stiff though, when he lets have it right.
Aye. He's just got this look. He's just got this look about him. It's he's not giving a shit about
He hasn't
Josh.
shown me anything, Andy, to be honest with you, since his arsehole went against Joe Joyce. He's not shown me anything to suggest that he won't do that again. If he gets touched up again, he'll quit. Because once it's in you, it never leaves you. You know what I mean? So that's what I personally believe. But I hope he proves me wrong. I hope he flattens that big shivering. Joshua.
I think he will flatten him. I honestly think he'll flatten him. And probably about 8. Yeah. I think Joshua, if Dubois can sting him, it might be a who wants first. But if Dubois can hurt him early, he's going to go into a shell, and he's going to revert to shitting himself or whatever. But if he wins, fair enough. I don't really mind who wins, but I just think Dubois is going to beat him. I just see Joshua reverting to. He's going to be being cautious and defensive. I think if Dubois can sting him early on, I mean it might not go past 3 or 4 rounds. Actually, they're both big punchers, So
yeah. Okay. Eddie Hills, you know, the liar from Essex, he's signed Shaka Stevenson because the Bob Farber don't want him no more. What do you think to that? And you think they'll finally be able to get that fight on with Tank Davis? Yes or no?
Maybe it's probably a decent signing for him. He's not the most exciting fighter, Stevenson, is he? He's not a big puncher either, is he? At top level, I don't believe so. He's fighting Joe Cordina, isn't he?
Yeah.
And is it October? 12th October, Riyadh. So I don't know why Cordina's got that title shot. He's coming off a stoppage defeat, isn't he?
Who is?
Joe Cordina. Kakachi beat him, didn't he?
Yeah. Joe Cordina, yeah. I can't understand how Joe Cordina's just lost, and now all of a sudden he's in a world title fight coming up. They're just fucking inventing it as they go along out of these rules. What's the point in having rules with these governing bodies if they're just going to do that? It's like with border control. Tommy Frank coming off so many losses, and then he's got him a British title fight. How can that be?
Yeah.
Has anybody not read the Green Book with rules, British Boxing Border Control? Because when I used to mention things like that to Dennis, he'd go, "Have you read Green Book?" Russell? And I said, yeah, I have. He said, well, read it again because you obviously haven't read it. And I read it again. Oh, yeah, you can't go for that coming off a loss or blah, blah, blah. We used to have this conversation all the time, but it was all right for Big Ron to get Tommy Frank a spoon for the British title. So it's same for these governing bodies. They're just doing what they want, aren't they? I think Tank Davis runs over Shaka Stevenson and Ordina on the same night, mate. You?
Yeah, I would say so. Tank Davis is a big puncher, isn't he? And he's relentless.
Yeah, the fact the Tank Davis fight's dead. What it is, you see, what you've got right is this: PBC and Mayweather lot, Leonard Ellie, but whatever. They're not bending over backwards for that Turkey L Sheikh guy or basically Eddie Hills. Or they don't want to work with him, do they?
No.
So that's how I look at it. So it's a shame. I'd like to see tanking with Shaka Stevenson, but Shaka Stevenson, in my opinion, needs to get a move on, doesn't he, and accept a proper fight because he's still being spoon fed, isn't he?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of Cordina's fights, he's just won, eh? Kind of a lot of them have been close wins, haven't they? He's quite an exciting fighter.
He's had gifts all his in life because he's Eddie Hills' little girl. He's Eddie's bit of stuff. That's why he's had gifts. Okay. Oh, right. Johnny Fisher, aka Elmer Fudd. Big Elmer. He's only going to got his centre fight against Rudenko. Well, Usyk done about 10 years ago, or 9.5 years ago. What do you think to that? He's got 7 losses, Rudenko, but Sam Jones, the man of the moment, Johnny on the spot. Isn't that right, Sam?
Sam Bones.
Hey?
Sam Bones. Bone density.
Bones, yeah, bone density, yeah. Joe Joyce's bone densities, it's been measured at 6 times stronger than the average man. He makes Steve Austin, played by Lee Majors, look tame in the $6 million man.
The Bone Doctor.
You know, for years, Andy, I thought I was Steve Austin. You know, when I was 7, I had tracksuit,
red tracksuit.
The lot. I thought
Did you have a bionic? Aye.
Did you get were Nike trainers the other or Puma? What
I can't mind. Aye.
Nike or Puma? Let me have a little look.
I remember I had the Steve Austin doll. You know, you can look through the bionic eye and
I had the lot, mate. I had action, man.
It's like it's like Eagle Eye. It's like his arm had like a fucking condom on it. Eh? You rolled it back and then there was a bionic arm. Eh?
The bionic man. I only used to watch it because I fancied his bird. Let me have a look here. See what it says here. I'm not sure if it's Puma or Nike had on, mate, but oh, hang on. I think we've got it here. Hang on. Oh, I don't know. I'm not. Oh, hang on. Oh, it's Adidas. It's Adidas. Oh my God, it's Adidas. He's got on that.
I'm going to send you something now. Have a look at this. You'll like this.
Go on then.
You'll like this. That's quite funny. I think it's funny. I was in an Adidas shop recently and I seen red tracksuits. I said to the wife, "What do you think of that? That looks all right. I think I should just don't be stupid, eh?" But turns out it was women's ones, eh? The same colour, eh? Red with the white strip.
Oh my God. Okay, Jack Castrol. What is Sam Jones doing for Jack Castrol? Sam, what are you doing for Jack Castrol? Just like what he did for Joe Joyce and Fabio Marco or whatever he was called. What happened to him? Flavio or Fabio?
Oh, he's disappeared, eh? He got a defeat, didn't he?
Sam, what's happening? Sam, tell us what's going on, mate. You're the man on the scene, Eddie's little PR guy.
Has it come through yet? No. Have a look on WhatsApp.
Andy Rose. Let's have a look. Sam Bones. Hey, go on then, lad. Get me another one sent later, and we've got 2 thumbnails tonight. Tonight's thumbnail. There you go. How's about that, Samuel? Hey, you licker. And your little licker mate, Gerbil Parsons, eh? Hey, aka Quasimodo. Quasimodo, isn't it, Parsons? Have you seen his face? Have you seen? Hey, I know I'm a good-looking kid. All chicks around here tell me I'm not being big-headed, but Parsons, you look like Quasimodo. Oh, Quaz, how you doing, Quaz? Jack Castrol, what's happening with him? Big Sam Jones, the man of the moment, saying that Jack Castrol's going to fight Prograde. Sam, why don't you tell everybody that the fight's not happening this year? Why don't you tell everybody instead of chatting knackers? You knackers chatter. Unbelievable. You know what? They're doing 6, 7 interviews a day, this shower of shit, Andy, right? They don't get no right. They're not getting nothing right. And now all of a sudden he's manager of Elmer Fudd. Oh, basically is going backwards. He's fighting Rudenko now. The guy he's just beats Rudenko. They call me, is that why they call me Punch? I don't know.
How's Elmer Fudd's bone density?
Elmer Fudd. Oh, well, Sam will be thinking of something different. Sam, you can't come out with that bone density one. You need to say, but big punches cannot harm him. He parries them, and his arms are like wings of steel. Like Batfink, isn't he? It's like Batfink, isn't he, Elmer Fudd? Have you seen him? I like him, he's my friend. Can't say how bad about anybody, can he? Have an opinion, Johnny Fisher Senior, Junior, aka Big Elmer Fudd.
He's a fence sitter,
Hey,
sitting on the fence.
unbelievable. His old man came out in the middle of a Chinese restaurant, having a break between 4th and 5th sittings. Egg foo young what first course, and second course were curry sauce with like prawn crackers. His old man came out and said, "We want Derek next or Anthony Joshua." What planet are they on? Johnny Fisher Senior, what planet are you on? What planet are you on? Your lads had 12 fights. He beat who? He's a big stiff that sells tickets, right? They always had a little bit on, no, there's 4,000 tickets. Listen, if he did 4,000 tickets, mate, he'd be paid per view. He doesn't do 4,000 tickets. He's a 500 ticket man to 1,000. 4,000, they're talking utter shit. Shit talkers. Calling Joshua out not so long ago, and recently, Derek Warchizora, who's 41. You know, like you do. Derek would put Elmer Fudd in his top pocket. You know that, and I know that. I want to see the White Rhino. I want to see the White Rhino in with Elmer Fudd. Because if the White Rhino's fit, he puts Elmer Fudd away. In my opinion, David Allen will put him away, him, that big stiff. Johnny P. Oh, I used to play rugby. Big stiff. I don't want to see him on me telling no more until he fights someday. With a heartbeat. It's not a lot for me to ask as a boxing man. That's how I look at it. What do you say, Andrew?
Yep, needs to up his opposition now, I think.
Hey?
I mean, Babic is way too wee. He shouldn't even be fighting the heavyweight. He should be fighting it cruiserweight.
I know. Well, listen, Andy, do you want to click on part 2?
Yeah, just give me 5 and I'll be right with you.
Well, I'll see you in 5 minutes. Pop, pop, bang.
Good man.
Thanks for liking and subscribing and leaving a comment. If you want to look at something a little bit different, we'll have to get in real close, you know. When I get onto Porky's Corner. Sorry, Porky's International, not Porky's Corner. This is Porky's Corner. I hope you liked and subscribed and left a comment. If you like something a little bit different, Porky's International is where it's at. I think there's about 20 videos on there. And I say it as I see it. It's other sports except this shithouse sport of boxing, which it is at the moment. That's what this is. All right, go on, get gone. Don't forget www.boxersinneed.com. Gary's putting his hand deep into his pocket, so you need to reach deep. Well, peace out. We'll see you on part 2.